Then drill through with your 1.2 drill bit. And because you have a pilot hole, this should just go right through. Our bead's cool enough to touch, and just drill through with your 1mm bit where we marked it originally. Don't drill into your fingers. And then a 1.2 bit through that hole. Drill both holes, pickle it, and tidy it up. And if you soldered it correctly, there shouldn't be much tidying up to do. Minimal sanding, and then basically we're going to just straighten our ring out, put our lentil bead in, run a piece of 1.2mm wire through, and solder it on either side of the shank. And that's roughly what it'll look like. Smooth side on one side and a patterned side on the other, and then you can just rotate it once it's off your finger. And it's fairly comfortable to wear because you have a smooth underside of this lentil shape. So this is ready to assemble. I just used my sanding stick and went around the edges, and the join should be invisible because you had two nice flat surfaces. So invisible join with minimal cleanup. Now I noticed when I put the ring on my finger that these were a little bit high, so what I'm going to do is sit the lentil bead on there, hold pressure on the bottom of the ring, and I'm going to remark it where I think the holes should be, and then I'll trim the top of these. Redrilled my holes. I'm going to saw this off just before the original, just under the original hole, and then I'll file that slightly rounded. This is just for aesthetics, and it's easier to do now before you solder that in place. Number 2 cut, flat hand file. Do both sides, sand it back to 400 grade paper. Hole mark it, and then sand the bump off where you hole marked it. Okay, we're ready to assemble our ring. 1.2 wire. If you've cut this with your side cutters, use your file and just a little bit of rounding up with your file where you cut it, because when you cut it you'll squeeze it into an oval. So now we're just going to run this through the ring shank and through our bead. Now we've got our wire through, the bead spins, and clip this. Easy solder on both sides. Don't let the solder go through because it'll solder the bead to the ring shank. So do one side at a time, keep the solder on the outside, and after they're both soldered, pickle it. I've only put flux on the outside, and what I'm going to do is just place the solder with my solder pick. I just concentrated the flame on the ring shank and on the wire, not on the bead. Then we'll do this side. I've done the second side. Now we'll quench it, make sure our bead turns, and then we'll pickle it. That's what we want. Now we'll pickle it and just tidy up those two solder joins and tumble it. You could polish this on the Tripoli, but because we have a pattern on this one side, we don't want to erase it, so we just tumble it. This is what we're making. A lentil shaped bead as a spinner ring. Pattern on one side, smooth on the other side, so you can wear it either way, pattern up or smooth side up.